cleaning up. Looking to finish this blog, but I'm getting a lot of um, press conference questions every time I hit the record button. But the most pornography I see nowadays is I guess those things on Twitter, topless stuff. But I say that to say it's big business. And there's a lot of people in those videos, I know there are a lot of people that work really hard at that and are good with makeup, but I also know what I wrote about to Twitter about God forbid this turns into a problem for us down the road. And just like I caught framed with a felony, these kids get framed with a topless picture, or they get framed with whatever it is, Meanwhile, it's all because we're uptight, and it would be because we got even more uptight. And the same people that were doing that shit and looking at that shit and look at that shit at home are still willing to not give someone a job or judge someone or keep someone from advancing out of it. And that'd be just like how they framed me for a felony, and it'd probably be racist. Then it'd be moving to gender, right? So it's how do we get our minds healthier where something like that is not going to have us be a bunch of uptight, suicidal idiots, And the water will be even worse. We'll be like, you had your titties out, But good luck having normal bowel movements when you're that kind of person, you know what I mean? Really. But I say that to say, one of the jobs I proposed was all these the famous college graduate that's waiting tables and stuff like that. And I guess, what do? We get drunk and stuff in our 20s and stuff, get angrier or something, hurt ourselves. I don't know. But there's good things to do too. You could write, you could go to school, you could fall in love and shit. Anyway, I said to say, those people, why don't we have those people looking at all this footage that we've developed, this body of work that we have in America of what could be called erotica if so much of it didn't look like actual rapes sometimes. And that kind of gray area that comes up for people, that's come up for me looking at porn or looking at the title of it, and it's that kind of thing is that a lot of times some of that stuff is real people that happen to. And if we're really talking about cleaning up and healing and having an honestly healthy perspective and being able to live in the present, there's stuff we got to talk about, And I don't know if are we going the route to just forget everything? Is that why I feel like I get electrocuted sometimes? I hope not. Because it's there's no shortcuts. Hemingway supposedly said the only way out is through. And while the point of power is in the present, and the stories we're told about the past are not always told from a full perspective, we still got to know where the hell we came from to know where we're headed, or to know even that that we're not where we can be or ought to be or need to be or whatever, you know. But what that also do if you have that kind of commitment, public commitment, besides the vigilante shit of everybody, like we could also like everybody that rapes somebody rape them and like, you know, like something real not good. We can start addressing this stuff, regardless what kind of final closure we put on situations. We gotta be addressing this kind of stuff and figuring out how to do this stuff in a healthy way, considering it's part of who we are and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. And there are probably a bunch of people who could tell you great stories about how they gained the porn industry or whatever. But there's a lot of people that went a bad way off of it. And the same thing that we seem to do too much: grind people up, use people up. I say it to say, among the things it does is you now have people who are not waiters and getting drunk, but people who, as their job, are having awareness about it. And I don't like to sound cute about this because it's a good soundbite, but it still deals with things in a way that's too regressed, like too past. To say like they're not people committing sex crimes, they're people who catch people who commit sex crimes. That's cool sounding, yet catching each other is like is gotcha stuff. And it's that gotcha stuff that got a lot of people fucked over. And wasting our fucking time. And having our kids running around doing all kinds of eviler shit, like. Because you're there trying to win something off of somebody, you know? And lose your kids, you know? Not worth it. Anyway, I said to say that's one job. Now you have people out there who have a whole different awareness. You're changing the entire culture of your sidewalks and of your young people, of the generation they're in, of your towns and cities and of your nation. And not by pulling a dirty dick out, but by fixing something, you know, like I've done times. But you know, imperfection like really has no is really like merciless. Anyway, I say that to say like another one I tweeted about is in this vein of cleaning up is like river walkers. I used to see NBA on TNT, and the guy Charles Barkley, he always used to crack jokes about the women in San Antonio saying that they're big and stuff on the river walk down there in San Antonio. So I said, you know, so I was like thinking about that and about that problem that we end up with too much. And when it's a problem, you know? Freaking like, because this water quality problem and obesity and people not knowing a goddamn thing about even what happens when they flush the toilet. I guess they think somebody works on their shit like they tell me in my head. But anyway, I say that to say like Santa Zells are there like, oh, great guy. Ooh, But I say it to say people, what that would accomplish is we get to know our community. We get to understand the value of water, the cycle in our communities. We know our infrastructure a whole ton better. People that are in inner cities where a lot of those water problems are would have a job where they're in nature. Meanwhile, they live in concrete. So that's good for balance and good for the health of the community, which is made up of people that have degrees of health. That's how the health of the community gets calculated, and the shit we did in these varying states. Anyway, those were jobs that all in the vein of cleaning up, and at the same time elevating, not even elevating our minds, because even that could sound like not interesting. But whatchamacallit? This having this